I want to do a quick little run through of what was really possible today before I go out here in a little bit. Um, I want to focus on understanding the differences between high probability and low probability setups. I see a lot of you guys taking setups that are just not highly probable and or you're not really understanding the full direction of the market. First thing is first, we always have to understand where our high time frame and external liquidity is coming from, right? High time frame here, we know daily bias is short, right? We hop right into the 15-minute. And what do we understand from the day before is that our last external sweep, right, was relatively or was right here, right? And this current high of the day, it got swept. That was that last external sweep that caused all this push to come down. Now, into the Asia, we eventually had this sweep right here, which was a previous day low. This became the final external sweep before London, which is why London, as you can see here, carried out buying momentum into breaching these highs here, right? I wouldn't say there was any particular moves you could have taken today on EU that were based off of external liquidity. Those high probability moves, or at least the highest probable move, was right here. Why? Because this is where the majority of the daily bias is coming from, right? So we can understand that if we come and sweep these highs, we're most likely going to continue this right here. It's okay not to get a trade, right? I want to emphasize this. Look how bad this chop today, right? Absolutely terrible. I wouldn't even consider any other high and low, right? Just because this is so unclear. The only highs and lows I want to be taking, right, are clean legs. Right? See how this is like a clean leg? Maybe this right here is a clean leg, but even having this as a clean leg, we still didn't sweep anything here. Right now, this becomes, as we know, for the next day, the previous day internal liquidity. Right. So we can go ahead and mark that in for the next day, right? And we already know or have an idea of what might happen in tomorrow's sesh, right? Because we already see the last external sweep was what? Higher, so we're probably most likely going to continue higher. We could, this is easily a 50-50 continuations or reversals, so we know this is not as probable as some other positions. So it might be a safe way to stay out of this, right? If we're going for a funding challenge right now, stay out of this, right? If you could trade it on a personal account, and there's a likelihood that you still win the continuations and or the reversals. I would stay out of it if you're on a funding challenge. I'd only stick to the external liquidity because we at least know that it's going to be a 90% chance of reversals rather than it being this 50-50 throw up, right? A lot of you guys are just antsy to take a trade. I'm telling you, it's perfectly fine to sit on your hands for a day or a full week if so, right? You only need one or two trades to pass funding challenge. You risk 1%, especially MFF. You hit 1 to 8, you pass the whole challenge, right? And then you move on to verification. In reality, it's not difficult to pass these funding challenges. It's difficult to keep your psychology in line, right? So let's pretend as if we traded EU today, we simply would have not traded it, right? If we were to wait for yesterday, right? Look at yesterday, like how clean this was, right? We clearly have a sweep of the previous day highs, right? It wasn't until this here that we reversed, and we clearly reversed. It wasn't until this here we hit the highs of the day again, and what do we do? Reversed, right? Very simple trades like that are the ones we want to take, and the only ones we want to take. Don't start forcing all of this BS around here. All right, there's no point. Absolutely no point. Let's go to GU. Let's take a look and see what happened with GU today. I remember I was calling, and if you go into my trade ideas, please, please, please look at these trade ideas. You'll see that I was calling the manipulation of this trend line to go higher, right? I was wrong about this being continuations, but that's because Asia came and just had a party here, right? And given the confluence with this trend line, that's kind of why this was arguably okay for reversals. Then again, it comes down to those probabilities. Is this a high probability area to start trading? No. Is this a high probability area to start trading, right? When we sweep up here? Sure. Right? In London over here, right, we could have taken these shorts here. That would have been fine. You probably would have hit break even as we came back up here. Why is this not a highly probable trade? Because this price didn't close below this candle low, right? It wicked it. Hence, it started going back up again, right? Understand your probabilities. It's so important to understand your probabilities. Now, all right, let's take a look at where we swept the current. See, we're sweeping current highs of the day. Let's go back here. Let's talk about out of session positions, right? Because a lot of you would have been like, oh, Ben, what about this one? Right here, a lot of you were probably trying to take shorts here. If you go back into the VIP chat, I strictly said, please do not take these shorts here. Why? We're out of session. It's pre-NY. A lot of the time when it's pre-NY, we're going to have to sweep these highs, take out a lot of people who are trying to short pre-NY. I did. The only position I truly took today was this in a gold position. I'm going to show you. Was this sweep of the current highs of the day right here, right? And once we swept these current highs of the day, which are normally marked out as orange, right? I saw this engulfing candle right here. I actually went into the 1 minute for a refinement. I took out my fractals. I saw that price broke right here. I saw that this was the first candle to sweep. Right here, I actually decided to take all of this right here to be safe. So I got into the position. Right, that's a little discretionary, sure. From a methodical standpoint, we should have been entering here. But I entered a little bit lower down here. But say we entered here, right, by a rule-based system. 2 pip SL, aim for the lows. That's close to, well, first of all, funding challenge, we hit our 1 to 3. We hit our 1 to 5. We came close to hitting the lows here. We didn't completely sweep the lows. As soon as we hit that 1 to 5, close out your position fully. That's a 5% gain, right? Understand your probabilities. Don't be greedy, especially on that funding challenge. Now, once you pass the funding challenge, sure. Go ahead and start aiming lower. Make as much money as you can from that. But your goal is just to pass the funding challenge. Come back over here, right? What do? Sweep the current highs of the day again. First of all, is this a high probability setup? Did we sweep the lows of these candles here? No, we didn't close below this candle, right? It's not necessary to take this position here. We could have, right? Because that was your engulfment of this candle open. And you could have smacked some sells down, but it wouldn't have been smart, right? Understand your probabilities. I would say this would be the only probable trade today. And it's not even your highest probability trade. Remember, the current highs of the day are still a 50-50 chance of continuations or reversals. Notice it took the continuations, right? Why? Because actually our high time frame bias, if we remember, is long, right? From here to here, I'm not color coding this correctly, but this was our high time frame bias. Hence, the current highs of the day kept buying. Usually the external current highs of the day generally lean towards shorts, but considering the high time frame bias, that's why I kept buying. But I actually completely forgot about this bias down here. I tend to fuck up still occasionally, but I still grabbed these shorts, grabbed the 1 to 3. Go look at my story. Right, I closed 70% partials at 1 to 3. The rest at break even. I'm actually taking a brand new funding challenge right now. I'm taking another 200K MFF challenge right now to stack some equity, so I can try and stack a little bit more equity and trade with a little bit more money, just to have a little bit more fun. So I probably am going to be a little bit more focused within the next couple trading days, because I am going to try and pass this challenge, probably by next week. And I already told one of my students that I'm probably going to be focusing on that, and I'll show you guys the pass once I get that. Anyways, so that was GU, that was EU. Notice there wasn't very much today, especially in New York, right? There really was not much today. We have to be okay with days like these, right? Gold I tried shorting again right here. What was wrong with it? What's wrong with it is that it's out of session, right? Really trying a way to say now. I didn't take this on the MFF challenge. Never am I going to take an out of session position on an MFF challenge. I'm only going to take A plus setups on an MFF challenge. It is or FTMO. It does not matter, right? Take the best possible setups on a challenge. You have over a month to make like 8%, 10%, right? Over a month because they don't include the weekends sometimes. I could be wrong about that, so if someone fact checks me, I'm sorry. Anyways, you're probably wondering here, is this your highest probability setup? Right, these gold shorts right here, because you're probably wondering, oh, we swept the daily high, our bias wants to remain short. Let's talk about pips and sweeps, right? If we broke a daily high and we have swept it now almost 180 pips, we cannot consider that a stop hunt at that point. That's ridiculous. Notice how most of the most effective stop hunts, right, are a quick sweep and go, right? Here we go, quick sweep and we go, right? Quick sweep and we go. It shouldn't be this huge sweep and then all of a sudden we reverse, right? Understand proximity of sweeps. I always talk about proximity. Also, I told everyone not to get into these shorts here. Why? Again, it was one of those current highs of the day where we came down, mitigated this whole area right here, and started popping back up. This, again, can be used for continuations. Say we would have swept external liquidity, then sure, I most likely would have started shorting. But this, to me, was external liquidity used for continuations rather than reversals. I don't like betting on the continuations generally for the highs of the day like this, but just so everyone knows, don't feel bad if you had a bad day today. These days are normal and they happen, right? You just have to know how to sit on your hands and not trade. Because I know how everyone feels coming into the trading day. They're super excited to wake up and get a couple trades in. Everybody's looking for a trade. Don't look for it. Let it come to you, right? Even I fail with it sometimes. Even my psychology gets all messed up sometimes, but it's just part of it. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering, well, if you're simply just going to trade the external liquidity, shouldn't we be trading like 10 pairs and set alerts on all the external liquidity points there? No, don't do that. You're going to increase your margin of error. Stick to 2-3 pairs max. Stick to the external liquidity on those 2-3 pairs max. If you don't get a trade for 2-3 days, you don't get a trade for 2-3 days. I promise you, it's so much easier said than done because I'm going to say, don't trade for 2-3 days. What's going to happen is a lot of people are going to come back to me like, oh, I just lost a trade today. What did I just tell you? Don't trade, right? You really have to learn how to not trade. So yeah, if it helps you, get rid of like all the internal liquidity points and just draw in your external points, right? If there's an external point here, let's talk about probabilities again, an external point here, and there's liquidity resting right above this external point, the market's still going to try and hunt all of that external liquidity, right? If there's just, it happens again here, right? External liquidity, we hunt it, but it still wants to hunt higher because there's this liquidity sitting here. Notice how this made the most probable move because it was a previous day low that got sold. It was clearly external liquidity. That's why this move happened. I called this out in the trade ideas. I called this out in the trade ideas. We got a perfect ping pong here to here, right? There's days that happen like this, and you got to be patient for them because as you can see, they pay off, right? Do not go forcing trades, please, please, please. Anyways, let's say we were in this position here. If we were in this position, then sure, it's okay to go ahead and start hitting continuations because you're already up. You guys have seen me just absolutely be disgusting on the charts, trading left and right. That's when I'm up like 70 R on the week. It's not when I'm down. Or I'm only being an aggressive trader when I'm able to lose money and able to put myself into loss, or able to take loss, right? Notice even here again, here's again one of those high probability setups, right? It's clearly a low of the day, right? It's not orange, right? These orange ones, I think a lot of you are confused with orange. Mainly these current highs of the day are a high probable move, external liquidity to go short. They're not, right? Please remember that. It's good to understand it, not always your highest probability moves. So considering that, there were absolutely no high probability moves today. And I really hope everyone realizes that, right? I would say if there were any, it would be this sweep right here that occurred, and that would have been it. All right, if we go through GBP USD, right, I see this sweep, this occur right here. That was it. Right, even all of this is kind of BS to me. This would have been the only one. But yeah, I hope this helps with some people and help maybe makes them feel a little bit better. Maybe it helps them realize that they've been taking trades that they shouldn't have, and or now they're only going to start taking the best trades. I'm not saying don't trade the other stuff. I'm saying if you're taking a funding challenge, stray away from all the bullshit and just stick to what works really, really well. All right. It's very simple. You don't need to overcomplicate anything. But yeah, I just wanted to make this quick video before I leave here in a little bit. I do have some cool things working up for all you guys in terms of newer strategy and developments, right? Things to kind of help you later on. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, boot camp will resume this Sunday, and I'm excited to see all my boot camp members and one-on-ones there again, to kind of go into more depth and some more refinements. But until then, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.